For most of my life, I've enjoyed stargazing. I love it when I can go out and see the stars at night. And this shows you just exactly how much of a nerd I am. In high school, when one of the science teachers formed an astronomy club, I was the first or the second president and vice president the other year. I loved it, and I still do. I like to go out and find the different constellations, or just sit and look and watch the satellites pass overhead, watch for shooting stars. One of these days, I think I still want to buy a really good telescope where I can see the nebulae and the galaxies and all of that. If you spend time doing that, you understand that the stars are like a map. We can see certain things at certain times of year in certain parts of the world. We can watch for how positions shift and identify what is a star, what is a planet. And one of the things that humanity has long understood is that by watching the heavens, we can prepare for certain things on earth. One of the things that in our contemporary area, archaeologists are discovering, much to the amazement of too many people in this world, far more than should be amazed, is that one of the things that all of the cultures native to the Americas shared was a very keen awareness of the patterns that happen in the heavens. They knew how to build structures that would tell them when the solstices were, when the equinoxes were. They could watch patterns in the phases of Venus and all of this kind of stuff. And we know that in nature, these things are tied very close to the growing seasons of plants, migrations of animals, mating seasons, you name it. A people that can look at the heavens and discern what is going on and recognize the signs of the seasons and the patterns of the natural world is a people that can engage that world successfully to survive and even to thrive. And so across every culture, people have been esteemed through generations who have this kind of knowledge, this kind of skill. Most of us would likely not be here today in this place of the world where we are if it weren't for the fact that our European ancestors figured out how to read these signs and navigate across vast expanses of ocean and find their way. All of this, if you think about it, is about how one is orienting one's focus, how one gives one's attention. There are all kinds of things in this world that compete for our attention, compete for our focus. This is especially true in our age today. You have to pay loads of money just to sit down and watch a TV show without ads, don't you? You can't drive more than 5 or 10 minutes without seeing billboards, or listen to music without commercials. Everybody wants a piece of our focus, a piece of our attention. Everyone, institutions, people of power and influence in this world, love it when they can convince us to orient our attention, our focus, our energy, our resources toward them. And the question that every human being must ask is, where am I going to put my focus? How am I going to orient my life? Where am I going to look? What am I going to pay attention to? Because we can't pay attention to everything or everyone all the time. It's just not possible. Today, we celebrate these Magi. We don't know much about them. According to tradition, there were 3 of them. But there may have been more. We don't know. We don't know what their background was. We don't know how old they were. We don't know if they were men, if they were women, if there was a mix. Were they wealthy? Were they poor? We don't really know. All we know is that they were of these people who took care to orient themselves, to give their focus and attention to the most monumental things in life. And ultimately, that orientation, even though they were foreigners according to the people of God, they were not Israelites, they were not people who were anticipating the coming of a Messiah or the coming of a great new king for Israel, even though that was not a part of their lives, nevertheless, they were able to discern that something truly extraordinary, truly significant, of the utmost impactfulness for all of humanity had happened in this place called Israel, in this place called Judea. And they needed to go and honor it. My brothers and sisters, I don't know what your hobbies are. I don't know if you like to go out and look at the stars or not. But the question is before us all. What are we paying attention to? Because wherever we're giving our focus, wherever we're giving our time, wherever we're giving our energy, our resources, or whatever, that defines the field of view within which God can get our attention. I would say it is of paramount importance that whatever we choose to do, we at least make sure that God is someone who can appear in that field of vision. There are certain places God doesn't bother with, by the way. God doesn't bother with the commercials, commercialism, consumerism. So all of those voices, all of those factors that are always coming at you for your money, you're not going to hear God's voice there. We don't hear God's voice in our vices. When we are orienting our lives to what is most pleasurable or what gives us the most esteem from other people, or what gives us the most power over others, that's not where God's going to appear to us. But if we orient ourselves to what is truly good, to the pursuit of truth, generosity, openness to others, self-gift, However that might be for us, however that might take its shape in our own unique paths in life, that is absolutely a place where God can get our attention. And I can testify from my own experience and my own spiritual journey, there is nothing that I can do in any given day that pleases God more than making sure I have oriented myself toward Him. Any day when I sit down and I take the time to ask God the question, what mattered most to you about my day today? The answer is always that you're sitting here now and asking me that question. That you're bothering to talk to me. So on this day of Epiphany, a day of realizations, a day of God's self-revelation to all who are seeking the truth, who are seeking goodness, who are seeking beauty, who are open to the ultimate, most important things in life. Let's make God happy. Because our ultimate happiness and fulfillment, well, He's the only one that can really grant that. Peace be with all of you this day, and with all who love the Lord in simplicity of heart.